Hey guys, I'm Doc, SampleKings.com, and we're going to show you some interesting stuff here about how to mix on your MPC, whether it's software or hardware. Now, of course, it'd be nice if you actually subscribe, since a lot of guys aren't subscribing these days, but please subscribe. We got some really important lessons to teach you before the new MPC comes out, and to teach you how to use your MPC to get the best sound out of it, and standalone mode, and even in computer mode, either way. So, for example, here we're going to be mostly in standalone, and I got a beat right here. I'll play it from the top. That's the beat right there. I'll turn this off. So what I'm using right here is a channel strip. We'll stop that right there. And you'll see it right here, of course. This is my MPC. I'm using the Air channel strip right now. This gives you a graphic representation of what's going on with that right here with my MPC. And I'm sort of giving it an EQ, a little bit gate, some compression to get the right sound out of that kick drum. I want to make sure my drums sound good. And then I want to actually bump them up. And here's how we do that. I'll come here to the EQ for one. I turned it on now, and we'll hear the difference. Matter of fact, let's stop that. We should probably mute the track. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to close this out right here. And we're going to look at it from a different angle. Let's stop this sharing here, get it right here. Look at this right here. This is what we've got here. This is our MPC. So I got this bass drum. That's the bass drum. And what I want to do probably is open this up over here. Oops. Go back to main here and go to right here. And you'll see we open it up on that side. And so now we can see that bass drum. If I hit it again, right? But that's not really the thing. I need to come to right here. So we're going to go to right here. Let's turn that off there. Got to be really particular here with the system. Do it and go back to here. Great. Now I'm going to come to right here. Good. And now we're showing channel strip. And once I hit the bass drum, we see it's A1 right here. That's A1 for the bass drum. And so I've got effects here. So I'm going to come to here, check out the effects. And I've got the channel strip right there, right? So I'll pull the channel strip up. Of course, like this is our channel strip. And I've got this EQ going on with the channel strip. So now I'll go back to here. I go back here to, I'll turn that on there. That's the level. I go back here, and now I'm with effects, and you see my effects right there. And I'll pull this out the way. This is a graphical representation of what's going on here. And then I'll turn the effect on. I hit that right there. And you see the effects. It's the same thing I have here, right? So I'll turn this on. That's all we got right there. It's just this one thing hitting hard. And so what I have here is I have an EQ. And you will see that EQ right here is the EQ. And what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I stay within the frequency here. This is my lows right here, as you can see over here. And I want to keep that frequency for my lows. As you can hear right there. And I can turn this up. You hear that? That's the bottom piece. That's what you really want off the system, is that one right there. So I'm trying to get my sound to be right. I had it before, right about here's where I want to keep it. That's, oh, wait a minute. That's a 5. Right there is good. And so I want to bring that out. Now, nothing here is the top end at all on the kick drum. You know, there's no highs there. But if I come down, let's say pull it back a little bit, I'll go to, let's see. There's a highs right there. And I want to sort of like my gains up there. So I'm pulling that back, nothing's really there. You hear the high, little high right there? It's a little bit of hiss that's in that sample. We'll make sure it's really got a pumpy sound. Now I'll turn it off. You hear the difference. Just a little bit of EQ works really well. Here's my mids right here. I'm not really messing with the mids too much at all. Nothing's really in the mid. But if I come to right here, you'll see it says like 454. And you want to get a boxy sound? There's your boxy sound. We don't want that boxy sound, right? I want to get rid of it. But if I do, something's missing. So I'm going to keep right about there, keep that steady. I can always change the Q, how round it's going to be. That's cool for me. I have a gate here too. So my gate comes in, you see this gate coming here. That closes everything out. It's gated, cuts everything off, it closes it out. So there's no noise coming in that was on there before. I have a compressor as well. Now I'm making it tighter. Got my attack set here, and my ratio's 1:1. Threshold's wide open here. If I pull this down, it's better off up, obviously, right? All these pointers right there. So it's a really fast system. That's cool. I'll turn this off. Without it, with it. This is great. I like the way it sounds. I got no problem with that. You always want to get your kick drum to sound pretty good. And here we are back in the software here on top of my system here, which is kind of cool. And what I want to do next is look at everything else. So I'll turn this off here. So now I got my kick drum right. I want to get the output right. So everything else is working here. I'm going to press play, start from the top. So I got my little snare drum right here. Little fake idea of one. So I'm using 3 different sounds for this purpose. A little reverb tied to that one. And this one here, a little wood block light with some reverb tied to it. And my hi-hat's cool too as well. I got a parametric EQ going on here, as you can see that. You can see it also here on my MPC right here. And that's the parametric EQ. Graphical representation of it, as you see on your MPC. And of course, I got a little EQ going on there to give it that little flavor. That's pretty simple stuff that I'm doing. But here's where it gets even more difficult here. As I start to move around here, let's go back to the mixing board. I've got some sounds right here. I've got actually effects right here, which is an air parametric EQ, and I also have the air compressor. And you'll see those two as they appear right here on the hard drive. The hardware right there, right? My standalone. So it's pretty simple. So in here, I'm just trying to capture some bass, and I got this light smile going on here. And you want to get this and put it on. This is my mastering here, light smile right there. I put that there to give it the flavor I want. I did some attenuation, turning some things off and on here, and actually changing this to get more of the bumpy sound I want to get. I'll leave that on like that. And then the next thing I want to do next is I want to come to right here. Get my compressor. And my compressor comes up here, as you can see also on my MPC. And my compressor here is a light compressor I'm using. It's light. So here, once I get here, I can see that, you know, this is just here. I'm just using, and this is the bus. This is where the output is. I use light right here. That's all I'm using. Light right there. It's pretty simple stuff. If you use that on your bus, that's perfect each time. But now I'm gonna do something else here on the bus. So I've got everything sounding pretty cool. The drums sound pretty hot there. I like that. And I'm actually going to overall output yet. So here, you'll see this is the output for that, right? It's the output for that bus. As I move it up and down, I don't want to get too high above here, around 4 or so. But it sounds tight like that. I like that. I'll put the parametric on. That sounds better, right? Now I put on the compressor. Now it's tightening it up. Made it tighter. Now this is what I want to do, get this to this point. Because now I can control it and get a nice thick sound. I got other sounds too as well. So I'll come back to here in the mix. I'll turn these sounds on. And they're here in my submix. And I see that submix in here. I'm going to close out of here on my MPC. I go to here to the track, and there's submix 1. There's submix 2. There's submix 3. There's 4, 5. So I got the submixes right here. So submix, I'm going to unmute that. See, my drums are right there. They're not, all the sounds in the pads are not going to that actual output. They're going to the submix for these sounds like this. And it still sounds deep, and these sounds are coming in. I'll go to submix 2. I'll go to right here, muted. Turn up a little bit if I want to. But the drums are still solid. They're right there in the mix. Perfect. Now bring them down somewhat. And it's still right there in the mix, and the drums out front. Now I'll do something else, so I may come to here and bring this down. Make sure everything's trapped in that area right there. Or you can go to here. Excellent. And this is my master output over here. No effects on there yet. But I got a great sound because I got a good drum mix. I can go back and mute these off. And that's still solid. And that's how you get a really good drum mix. I'll see you in the next video, but always get a solid mix in your recording. And you can always visit SUBGROUPS.com. We do lessons.